read to you this really quickly. This is an email I sent to a rep in New Hampshire. Her name was Marjorie Smith. She was a Democrat. For 2 years, the Democrats, for the first time in 100 years, took over the legislature in New Hampshire. And the Republicans had both chambers for about 100 years. And it was kind of interesting. They had done some things that weren't really liberty inclined, so the Democrats got in. And while the Democrats were in, they started, I don't know if they passed the laws, but they suggested passing, making it mandatory to have a seatbelt in your vehicle, make insurance mandatory, make helmets on a motorcycle mandatory. All these things you can do in New Hampshire. You can drive your car without insurance. If you get in a wreck with somebody, you got to work it out with them. It's not mandatory. Some people have grown accustomed to these things, but when you look at liberty in its truest form, that's what it looks like. It means self-responsibility. It doesn't mean mandates. But if you get on that motorcycle and you crash, you better find a way to take care of it. But that is individual responsibility. They have, in both Vermont and New Hampshire, the most, I don't know if they're the most, but they're definitely some of the highest gun rights. In fact, recently in New Hampshire, they made it so you can bring a gun in your own legislature. Wow. This is truly liberty. Even Vermont, which is a blue state, highly liberal, when you have good representation, you find out that even they like to protect themselves. It's not just Rosie O'Donnell who wants to yell at the, certain people for, supporting guns and then, having her own protection. When you get into good representation, your civil liberties start taking off. Your ability to enforce them starts going up. Powerful, powerful. Anyway, so in New Hampshire, we had, so I sent this email to Marjorie Smith, and she was the head of the budget committee. And I said, what does the New Hampshire budget look like this year? And I sent the email on 8/10/08. What does the New Hampshire budget look like this year? Is it a deficit or is it flush? I heard that last year the New Hampshire budget was in the surplus of $40,000. Is this true? So on 8/10/08. On 8/11/08, I get an answer. I'd be happy to answer your questions. I need a little more information. And on. The next day, I get an answer from the chairman of the finance committee. The chairman of the budget committee sends me an answer personally. It's not her assistant, it's her. This is what you get when you have representation. You almost can't believe it. I mean, like when I'm getting these emails back, I'm getting giddy. I mean, it's like you can't fathom these things. Unsolicited, 5/24/07, Ken Weiler. Dear Michael, Dick Marple, who is another rep in the legislature, has forwarded me your message about trying to increase the size of the California House. I've been in the New Hampshire House since 1990. I've seen bills to decrease the number of reps from 400 to 200 and increase the size of our Senate from 24 to 48. For the decrease, the reps voted as if somebody was trying to take away their seats, and they killed the bill. For the Senate, where people never have enough time to serve effectively in their 3 or 4 committees, they have 3 or 4 committees. Our senators can't even think straight. They killed the bill for fear it would take away their power. Unsolicited, I got an email from a rep because he talked to another rep in New Hampshire about what I was doing here. Anybody on accident contact you from the state Senate in California? How many reps have run from you because they're worried that you might pull them to the side and tell them about problems you have? In New Hampshire, they actually take care of problems. It's staggering. When I got this email, unsolicited, just sent me an email. It was out of the blue. This is just amazing. It says, thank you, voters. To the editor, I want to take this opportunity to commend the voters of Senate District 2 for their excellent turnout at the polls November 5th. I believe the campaign was one of issues and conducted in a manner that New Hampshire voters expect and respect. To the voters that supported me, thank you. To all the voters, my goal is to continue and be an avid supporter of the North County and to be available at all times on your behalf. Please feel free to reach me in Concord at 271-2641 or at home, 279-6492. On any matter of concern that is important to you, remember there is strength in numbers. Carl Johnson, Senator-elect District 2. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. Call me at home. Well, this is several years back, but this is an editorial. By the way, everybody, I just won. I'm your rep. This is my home number. Contact me if you've got a problem. I'll help you. That's the way it should be. I can't emphasize that enough. What's the one thing they got? Representation.